And welcome back, rugby fans, to Rugby411. As always, I'm your host. My name is Joshua Shibata, and this video is going to preview the last rugby match, international match for the USA Eagles this year in 2023. I wanted to make a video about the prior game involved in this tournament. Unfortunately, life kind of got in the way, but in the end, it all worked out because the USA Eagles made the final in this tournament, the Vila International Rugby Cup. So we're able to make this video previewing the final game between ranked number 18 USA Eagles against ranked number 19, the host nation team, Spain Rugby. It will be a very, very exciting game. Beauty is you can watch it live and absolutely free on Rugby Pass TV this Saturday, November 18th. 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time kickoff. So let's get into it. This should be a very exciting game. Just a little background. The La Vila International Rugby Cup was a special occasion made for 4 teams that unfortunately were not able to make this year's Rugby World Cup. Of course, we know United States wasn't able to make it. Spain did actually make the Rugby World Cup, but if you didn't know, there was unfortunately some shenanigans involved with the Spanish rugby team. They were fielding a couple of illegal players, so unfortunately they were bounced out of the qualification. And then the other 2 teams that were involved in this competition, Canada and Brazil, both unfortunately did not make the Rugby World Cup. Coincidentally, Canada didn't make it because they got beat out by the United States in the qualifier. Brazil unfortunately did not make the qualifier either. Fortunately, all 4 teams were able to be part of this little mini tournament. Started last week. USA took on Brazil and completely dismantled them in an amazing performance. Again, you can watch that game and it's still archived on Rugby Pass TV. It's the official streaming service of World Rugby. A lot of their Rugby World Cup highlights and backstage videos and media from the Rugby World Cup is on there. From what I understand, rumor is that there's a possibility the next Rugby World Cup that will be taking place in Australia in 2027 may actually be all done on Rugby Pass TV, but that's obviously we got to worry about that 4 years from now. But Rugby Pass TV, absolutely free, great usage. The recent WXV, which by the way, again, kudos to Team USA Women's for having a good tournament. They didn't end up winning the tournament, but at least they didn't get regulated down to the 3rd tier tournament process. Again, all that information, you can watch my prior video on that. But again, you can watch all those matches archived on Rugby Pass TV, absolutely free. Great women's competition. If you really want to get into women's rugby or at least see some of the best teams duke it out, Rugby Pass TV. So again, USA were able to beat Brazil last week, 48-3. Phenomenal performance. I'll go a little bit more into detail when I preview the starting lineup of the starting 15 of this week's USA Eagles team to go over exactly what happened in the last game, because a lot of the same players are playing against Spain this time. Spain were able to dominate Canada, defeating them and in pretty dominant fashion as well. USA ended up scoring 8 tries. Spain actually ended up scoring 6. So needless to say, this game that's coming up could end up being a firefight. Tries aplenty. But anyways, let's go into the starting lineup. Head coach Scott Lawrence posted the starting 15. And there they are. Just a couple of changes, including the front row. Some of your starters are coming off of the bench on this game, including, we'll go through the lineup. Jake Turnbull, who came off of the bench in the prior game against Brazil from Seattle, and then David Ayanu returning to the USA Eagles for the first time in a couple of years. The last time that he actually had some interaction with the USA Eagles, he was actually playing against them in that really phenomenal game between Toulouse and USA Eagles a couple of months ago. You could watch that game on the Rugby Network. It was a really great game. This time around, David Ayanu is back on the USA Eagles team. He will also be at prop. Your hooker, of course, is the very talented Dylan the Butcher Fawcett from the New York Ironworkers. Then you have the return of Captain Nate Brakely at your flanker position with Cam Dolan. Nate Brakely has 33 caps under his belt. Unfortunately, this will be his last cap. He just announced just recently that he will be retiring from international competition. Of course, he will probably be continuing with the New York Ironworkers when the MLR season rolls around, but no longer will be part of international competition as a USA Eagles. Kudos to you, Nate Brakely. Great career with the USA Eagles. Definitely hope to see you continue with Major League Rugby as long as possible. But of course, this will be his last hurrah. And as his last hurrah as captain. Cam Dolan from the NOLA Gold, the other flanker at the number 5 position. 66 caps under his name. This will be his 67th. He will tie Mike McDonald, former prop of the USA Eagles, who played from 2000-2012, as the second most caps of any USA Eagles in the history of the USA Rugby program. Huge accomplishment for Cam Dolan. He will only be 9 behind the very famous Todd Clever, former USA Eagles captain and flanker who played from 2003 to 2017. So Cam Dolan currently the most caps under any active player, will earn his 67th cap. Kudos to you, Cam Dolan. Number 6, Sam Gala. Oh man, from the Dallas Jackals. You want to talk about a guy who will be a fixture of the USA Eagles for at least a couple World Cups in the future, hopefully. Sam Gala, your reigning MLR Rookie of the Year from the Dallas Jackals, along with his flanker buddy Paddy Ryan of the Coventry Rugby at the number 7 position. Then you have a couple of a triplet of Chicago Hounds players. Number 8, Luke White. Number 9, your scrum half, Nick McCarthy. And then Luke Carty, your fly half at the number 10 position. All 3 of them phenomenal players. Then a little switch between the winger position. Your vice captain, Nate Osberger, will be at the number 14 position this time around. San Diego Legion, this will be his 41st cap under his belt. That's the 4th most of players of all time. Of active players in the USA Eagles. And then Joe Mono, moving to the number 11th position from number 14, made a splash in his debut game against Brazil. He scored not only 2 tries within, I believe, the first 5 minutes of the game, but he ended up having a hat trick and dominating Brazil. Utah Warriors player, first time as an Eagles. This will be his 2nd cap. Kudos to you, Joe Mono. Amazing performance. Again, you could watch that on the Rugby Pass TV. And then your centers, Tommaso Boni, just recently signed with Old Glory, formerly of the Zebra, an Italian player who is using his international caps as a USA player. Phenomenal center. Just started playing for the USA Eagles this year. And then Tavita Lopetti from the Seattle Seawolves, 11 caps under his belt. And then, of course, your fullback, another Chicago Hounds player, the very talented Chris Mattina. Off of your bench, we have Peter Malcolm from Seattle as your prop, along with Alex Mahan, who will get his 2nd cap if he comes off the bench. Alex Mahan, formerly of the Rugby Atlanta team, now possibly with LA, possibly, of course, lots of rumors and controversy over if there is going to be an LA team this 2024. If there are, Alex Mahan might possibly be on the roster. And then your hooker position coming off of the bench, Nate Sylvia of San Diego. Bailey Wilson, the brother of Mitchie Wilson, will possibly make his debut cap if he comes off of the bench. Utah Warrior. And then CeCe Mahoney, who just came back to the USA Eagles in this trip from the Houston SaberCats. Thomas Tuaval from Utah. And he scored a try in the last game. Oh, also forgot to mention Tommaso Boni, man. He had a great game against Brazil. He scored 2 tries, had a brace. Tommaso Tuaval, coming off of the bench, scored a try. Mitchie Wilson will be your fullback or utility back coming off of the bench at the number 22 spot from the free draft. And then the return of former captain Bryce Campbell as your center position, number 23 from the Chicago Hounds. This will be his 44th cap under his belt, 2nd most of active players currently of the Eagles. So a very talented team, a nice mix of young and veteran players. Definitely will have a great chance at winning this La Vila International Rugby Cup. Real quick, with the Spain team, just a couple of players to mention and of note. Their number 4 position, lock Mario Pichardi is their captain. They have such dynamic back players. Their centers and their wingers. Martino Siana, Alvar Jimeno all had tries in their game against Canada. They're 8 and 9. Their backs are really impressive as well. Ikane Imazi is their 8th position. He scored a try. Tani Bay, their scrum half, scored 2 tries. And then their fly half, he's the dangerous one. Inaki Maru, 6 for 6 of conversions in his game against Canada. So again, a guy who could possibly score a lot of points off of the tee. USA definitely have to mind their P's and Q's, otherwise they might find themselves behind thanks to the foot of Inaki Mato, their fly half. Then off of the bench, they have a very talented prop in Marcos Hunitz, who scored a try as well in the game against Canada. So again, it seems to me like 2 very high-powered offenses in this game, facing it off. Could end up being a very defensive game in the end for Spain and USA, but I'm expecting a lot of fireworks. And again, you can watch that game absolutely free. Rugby Pass TV, one more time, this Saturday, November 18th, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, Rugby Pass TV. Not the easiest app to navigate, I'll be honest with you on that, but it's absolutely free, easy to sign up. It should pop up right off the start of this game. Hopefully you don't have to look too hard to find it, but you can watch that game. And then also, if you're interested in watching the 3rd place matchup between Canada and Brazil, that will also be there starting a couple of hours before on Saturday. So again, an exciting game for USA. It will be the last international competition for the year before we start MLR, of course, next year in 2024. And then, of course, we have the new Pacific Nations Cup and a lot of hopefully really cool things coming from USA Eagles in 2024, and of course from this channel as well. So again, thank you very much for watching this channel. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments below if you're going to be watching this competition, or at least your thoughts on who might win in this competition. Again, USA is ranked number 18. Spain is right below them, so this is great competition for USA. Hopefully to go up a little bit in the rankings, but at least fight against a team that has pretty similar skill set. Again, this is just a chance for the USA Eagles to grow as a team and as a rugby nation, and hopefully prepare for, again, the 2027 World Cup. And, of course, the Pacific Nations Cup next year. So, again, thank you very much for watching my video. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you on the pitch.